So I want to thank you for joining me again on my weekly video. This week, I want to help you get to know the new Director of Libraries, Darcell Graham. She's been on the job since the start of November, not very long. Darcell came here from Baltimore, where she directed strategic planning for the Enoch Pratt Free Library System. She's a champion of the public library system with a history of working to improve the product for its users. I'm excited to welcome Darcell and introduce you to her now. So tell us a little bit about your experience and what it was like working in a large system.
Thanks, Mark, and thanks for having me. It has been such a tremendous, eye-opening experience working for a system that's similar to size like Montgomery County Public Libraries. Like you said earlier, I've been in libraries all of my professional career, and I've been a champion for equity and access for over 26 years now, and happy to join Montgomery County.
Great. So what's your experience it's been like so far? How are things
Oh my
going?
gosh. So it's been great. And I gotta say it far exceeds my expectations because it is a true county department with all the privileges and support of other county agencies. It's just been such a welcoming environment knowing that I have partners in the work to move Montgomery County forward.
So can you explain to listeners how this structure is different than the Enoch Pratt system?
Absolutely. In Baltimore, their library system is a quasi-city agency, which means it is managed and by their 40-member plus board. Even though the director sits on the mayor's council, it is definitely goodwill and partnerships that help move the work forward, not definitely a mandate by other city agencies, and that's the biggest difference here. It feels very much like a team environment. It feels very much like one band, one sound. And so while, yes, it was very collaborative in Baltimore, this seems very natural here in Montgomery County.
Well, that's good to hear. And you have a reputation for advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion work in Baltimore.
Yeah.
You've been here a little bit, so what do you see where you are here now, and what kind of things did you do that you might want to bring this direction?
So the one thing I see immediately is the opportunity for the library to be that third space. You have work, you have home, and then I would like to see the library be that third place that your community goes to. And I think the way of doing that is opening up the doors to have other departments provide services that the libraries can't usually provide, to bring more resources to the community in that free, openly accessible space. So that's the one thing. And I think it makes it equitable regardless of whether you have access to internet. It also makes it equitable for the socially differences here in the county. The one thing I think that I've noticed in my 12 days now is that it's very diverse. We have very different communities with very different needs. So there's no such thing as a one model fits every sort of branch. And I'm looking at opportunities to not only bring in and help to provide access to food and security opportunities, also housing. How do we move workforce development forward and create that space? How do we support small businesses and be in that resource center? So I see plenty of opportunities, and I'm excited about how expanding the work that the former director has already began.
So it sounds like you see the library as more than just an information access tool,
Yeah.
But a tool in terms of how we build things here in the county.
Yeah. Yeah, and our staff as well, right? Our staff live here as well as they work here, who are also benefits of the services that the library provides. So I look at it as a holistic model, and it only works because we are here doing the work for the community. So super excited about the opportunities, already have had plenty of conversations with my colleagues across the county, and I look forward to having many, many more.
Our libraries have been a big part of the services in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that we have the strength we do have in the libraries. You've only been here a little time, but I'm wondering, have you had the opportunity to interact yet with MCPS, our public school system?
I have not, but here's what I look forward to, because in working with the team, understanding that we have a strong partnership, how do we continue to support your vision? for youth and access and making sure our kids are ready to enter kindergarten? How do we develop programs? How do our collections support that work as well? And how do we expand on what we're already doing? So I look forward to it because that is probably going to be one of the strongest partnerships we have.
Do you have a sense from your previous experience, like what have you done before that you would like to see done here? And feel free to be expansive about it. I mean, because I want people to understand, what you might think is possible.
So I think there's a lot of literary initiatives that I would like to explore. How do we come together to create curriculum that supports the schools, that helps with the literacy gap? And then I also think there's huge opportunities to bring in authors and other thought-provoking leaders, but I want to also look at ways that we partner to support our youth. Our youth use our library branches frequently. How do we mimic or create structure similar to the school system? That's fun. That doesn't seem like schoolwork, but also creates a safe environment for our youth to really grow. There's so many more technology advances that I feel like we have opportunities that we can fill that space where maybe the school cannot. And we can make it fun as well. So working with the school system as partners to make sure that our communities are very vibrant. Our youth are our future leaders. Our youth are future library patrons, right? We want to make sure, and well into adulthood, that they continue to support the library. So that is one way I see we can totally support.
Were you able to roll out things in Baltimore that you think have you told to hear?
Yeah, I know where we had locations where there were a lot of youth adjacent to schools, working with the schools to make sure we show up on back to school night, to let the parents know what programs we have, instituting programs very structured that supports that educational opportunity. Having partners come in from the schools into the branch creates a safe environment, creates a use of the library for everyone, even when there's 50 kids in one branch at a time. So that is something we've seen, the incidents from having our very rambunctious kids to drop from like 20 a day to 0. Much success. We've also seen a lot of success in helping youth explore workforce development opportunities. We've seen a lot of success in creating programs to help them, what we call the side hustle. Our youth are very innovative, much more than when I was their age. Some of them already have robust businesses. How do we help them create business plans, secure funding for more sustainability options? So that's some of the things that I think we can also help with.
That's really interesting. I was in a program where they were actually having us meet young entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And I was thinking I was going to meet some teenagers, maybe kids leaving high school. Instead, I was meeting elementary school kids
Yes.
who had operating businesses
Yes.
and had ideas. And I thought I was talking to people who had gotten an MBA and were thinking about a business. What kind of things did you see, happen in Baltimore? I mean, you think of any like notable?
Oh my gosh. So we saw young entrepreneurs with t-shirt lines. That's a really popular one. We saw some of our teens take into the fashion industry, the cosmetic makeup industry, anywhere from doing eyebrows to putting on lashes, things that they have learned to do with their friends for fun. We've seen them now turn into a business, and a very successful business. So being that incubator that we help to grow and continue to inspire, I think is definitely the space the library should occupy. There was something that I read recently where the school system is looking at different curriculum. One of them is like hip hop. And so how do we further that from the schools and now into libraries where they can come in and learn about making music, where they can come in and learn about production and things like that. So that's where I think, again, there's so many opportunities here in this county to do that work.
That's exciting. So are you excited about this? One week hasn't made you jealous
Oh my
yet?
gosh. No, I'm really excited. The staff, the community has been so welcoming. It is definitely something that attracted me to Montgomery County. And I want to thank you as well, because as I was looking at this opportunity, looking at your vision, looking at the diversity amongst our county government and just your intentional efforts to make sure that that is a priority was definitely very attractive. So, and one of the main reasons why I also chose Montgomery County.
Thank you for that. I mean, it's good to know that it gets noticed
Yeah.
sometimes. I mean, it has been important to make
Yeah.
sure that there are plenty of qualified people and that,
Absolutely.
you know, color, religion, any of that stuff doesn't become a barrier.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of talent out there. And,
Yeah.
you know, for the kids who are going to the libraries, they need to be able to see a diversity of successful people if they're going to be able to envision themselves. You know, I was an elementary school teacher. You wanted kids to say, I want to grow up to be that.
Yes.
And they need to see that so they aspire to it. You know, a lot of the role models in society are particularly very good role models.
Yeah.
They get the attention, they get the publicity, do they contribute much to the well-being of society? Maybe not so much.
Yeah.
So seeing people who are strong in their lives and can make a meaningful contribution and make them feel important, I think is really, really critical.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think the one thing that and why I was attracted to libraries is because it was definitely critical in my life as a child in Baltimore. And coming from a teenage mom and really being very blessed and fortunate to have gone to a school that was preparing me for college, I used the library as the resource for tutoring because with my mom having an 8th grade education, I had no one in the home to help me with those academics. And the library plays such a critical role in my life. And when I drive around the county and visit the branches and see the diversity, I see opportunity. I see how to be that place for everyone. No, regardless of your socioeconomic background, your religion, the language is huge here, which I see so many inroads to how we can help fill that gap. And again, just recreating and changing what people think libraries were, which was just about books, because we're about access. It's always been about access. It comes in books, it comes in databases, it even comes in people. And so being that place where I feel like is the last place where civic discourse can happen, where communities can come and you can go in there and be, where we don't ask for identification, where we're not judging, we're open, we don't censor, I think is such a huge investment in the community. And I am absolutely impressed with the resources that Montgomery County has devoted to their libraries.
It's good to know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think everybody prioritizes. You know, they will say that, you know, during the recession, things like libraries and recreation were the first things cut.
Yeah.
Because we had essential services to deliver. And some of them took a very long time to recover. Libraries did not recover pretty much until I came into office, well past the recession. And the same thing with recreation. It took a long time to build those things back. And I think people missed them and told us how much they missed them. We weren't always able to do the things I think all of us agreed we would have liked to be able to do. So it's nice to be in a position where you all are better funded than you were before, and hopefully we'll continue to, given what's happening in the rest of the country, we'll still be able to continue. I mean, for the listeners out there, you know, we do worry about our budget in the context of what could get cut at the federal level, both directly in terms of federal aid we receive and indirectly through aid that the state receives that it then passes down to counties. So as we go into our budget right now, we are on the one hand planning for what we think we can do, and on the other hand aware that what we think we can do may change over the course of the year, and we're all going to have to ride this out together. So you are coming here in a difficult time that the county did not create, but just the same, we're going to have to manage it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be critical to examine the resources that we offer to our community. And it's tough, right? Because one person using it is just as important as 500 people using that resource. And so, you know, we're looking at probably a little bit leaner times. And we're going to have to work strategically to reduce the impact to our community while also being very supportive of our staff. And so, you know, there's a delicate balancing act, I'm sure you know that, that we do when we prioritize what our community needs versus what we can deliver. Yeah.
I'm a big believer in prioritizing your staff and doing all that,
Yeah.
because if staff's not happy and you're not getting the job you want, or job dissatisfaction spills over to the workplace, when somebody's unhappy, you
Yeah.
usually can figure that out. So making sure that people feel they're listened to and that they have a role in,
Yeah.
you know, shaping the decisions we make, that's always been important to me. So hopefully, you know, you're getting a taste of the staff.
Oh,
and
yeah. And I believe staff is our most critical resource. That's our best asset. They are, you know, before they saw it in the book, they have it in their minds. When a computer go down, they can still serve you because they know, they're informed, they're aware, they know what we have to offer to the public. So the best thing we can do is invest in our staff. That actually brings engagement and delivers excellent customer service.
I think you've got it. So before I close it out,
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell the residents of the county about what to expect from you?
Oh, yeah. So I'm excited about being here, Mark, and thank you again. I look like the first 90 days is for me to just visit all the locations, remain curious, ask a lot of questions, open the door, and invite the community to offer some feedback on how we can do it differently. I won't say better because I think the staff is doing an excellent job at delivering services now. But there's always ways that we can do it a little differently. So I want to hear some of that feedback, and I just continue to work with our partners across the county. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm looking forward to working with you, and I just, you know, want to make sure that, you know, folks had a chance to get to know you. I wanted to give you this introduction to the community. Libraries are important to a lot of people. I did 11 listening sessions.
Yeah.
I think pretty much every one of them had someone from the libraries saying, "Don't forget about the libraries. We're an important part of our community." My temptation is always to say, "I got it." You don't need to say anything, but people want to say it, and we let them say it. But I'm well aware of the importance the community places on the libraries, and I want to thank you for joining me this week. Hopefully, people will be inspired by this, and if they have questions, they know where to find you.
Absolutely.
And they certainly know where to find me. So we should be able to go forward together. I'm really looking forward to a partnership, and I think you'll find that partnership with the rest of our staff. There's a real sense of team value up here. We all know what we're up against. We've talked about this. So I think everybody's understanding that, you know, not the easiest of times, but they are the times we've been dealt with. And we're going to do everything we can to make them as good as we can make them.
Yeah.
And you're going to be a big part of that.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.